basketball!
Welcome back, everybody, to Good Morning Let's Basketball. Today, we got a special episode, and that is with Matt from BallGame Pod. He's going to be subbing in for Mike this week, who couldn't join us. But Matt, if you could tell us like how you guys started, who's your favorite NBA team, and plug your socials to give the fans where they can find you at.
All right. So, first of all, big New York Knicks fan, massive New York Knicks fan. That's my squad. How'd the podcast come about? So, one day I got a text from my boxing coach, and he had space being rented. And he asked if we wanted to start a podcast. I texted my boys, and I was like, yo, y'all want to do this? Y'all want to start this? They said yes. Little did I know, a week later, we now started a podcast. And then now we're a little over a year into this thing, about 17 different setups. And here we are. I mean, I love it. I love every second of it. So yeah, and you guys can find us at BallGame Pod on Instagram, Twitter, all the socials, TikTok. It's either BallGame Pod or BallGame Podcast. It's one or the other on any of the socials. So please go drop us a follow. But this is not about us. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I very much appreciate it. You said Mike is missing.
Yes.
Mike, hello. I'm sorry that I'm taking your spot. I definitely can't do it to your ability, but I'm going to do my best. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, man. This collab has been like a month's work in progress, and it's finally happening. So
Yeah, thank you for reaching out, number one. And then Kevin came on our podcast yesterday. We were lucky enough to have him. That was awesome. That was a great time. So thank you for coming on ours as well. So I look forward to having all of you on at some point or another. So
yeah, that would be awesome,
Definitely.
man.
That would be, yeah. And make sure y'all go ahead and check out their video on their channel as well. They drop some great content as well. But getting into the topics for today, got a little bit of a packed schedule ahead of us. Starting off, it's going to be a little bit about Matt here. If you guys saw our episode last week, you saw that we gave our finals predictions before the finals was even set. A little ballsy, but they were up 3-0, fell to 3-1, but we're just that confident around here. That's how we do it. So, Matt, we're going to go ahead and get your finals predictions and what you're thinking on this upcoming Boston Celtics versus Dallas Mavericks series that starts tomorrow night. I'm saying tomorrow night because at the time of this recording, it'll be tomorrow. By the time it uploads, game one will be history. But go ahead and give us your prediction and what you think.
all right, so Kevin, you were on yesterday with us. You saw how throughout the entirety of the podcast, I was torn. Like I was like, I think I'm gonna make
Yes.
I think I'm gonna change my mind. And everyone around me is like, no, stand on business with what you said in the chat. And so here I was like, all right, well, I have no choice now. So I ended up picking the Celtics in 7 games. Of course, I want to ride this Luka train. No Diddy. I want to be all over that. I do. Like they're fun. They're fun to root for. And then of course the Boston Celtics. I'm a Knicks fan, man, and we have a fan of the Celtics that usually comes on the podcast and stuff. And we're very close friends with. You saw Chris arguing with him in the chat. It's my good friend O'Sleazy. He's made me hate the Celtics. I like the Celtics. I genuinely did. He's made me hate them. So for that reason, I was considering the Dallas Mavericks, but logic pushes me towards the Celtics. They're too loaded. That team is the top 6 is just unbelievable. Just it's insane how talented that team is. What Brad Stevens has done with the squad. So I really do think the Celtics win that thing in 7 at home, unless Luka goes stupid in a game 7 in Boston, which he may do.
Yeah.
70 points. Watch it happen. So
Yeah, you never know. He did that earlier this year. I believe he had a very high scoring game of such. But yeah, I believe we're in store for an insane finals, man. I mean, I was really hoping something of this nature would come about. I did not really expect it to be the Dallas Mavericks that we're going to see in the finals this year, facing off against the Boston Celtics. All of us kind of had a feeling at the beginning of the playoffs and even months before that, that the Boston Celtics were going to be the team that made the NBA Finals at the East, or at the very minimum should, because we didn't really know from their season run from last year and how they felt to the Miami Heat 7 seed, which was definitely crazy. But I believe all of ours, me, Daniel, and Vic, I think all of our predictions have remained the same. I know some of us were Mavericks. Victor, you were Celtics, I believe, right?
Yeah, I had the same prediction as Matt. Celtics in 7. They should win. This they've gone far every single year. Best team in the NBA with the roster and everything. This is what they're supposed to do. They're not the underdogs in this series, so I think they should win.
Yeah, no, Matt, I'm glad you no disrespect to your friend that's a Celtics fan, but our other co-host that's missing right now, he's a big Celtics fan, and I can say like this season he's kind of made me hate the Celtics too. I don't know what I don't know what it is about those fans. I don't think they're the worst. They can't be because I follow like Lakers Center and I follow a lot of other teams and like they're probably
Does
worse,
Lakers fans
but
exist?
We're
yeah.
pretty up there. I'm not gonna lie.
But you guys like deserve to have a chip on your shoulder because it's been so long, and like you guys deserve to be in the best names of the NBA. So it's like, yeah, you guys are historical too. So it's like, yeah, fuck yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I also
Boston
think
fans are
that
terrible.
I also think that Knicks fans are also just funny with it too. Like all of like the chants that they have outside the games, the
Oh,
interviews that I see with like people in the Spider-Man costumes, and there's like little kids,
shout
12,
out
13 year olds,
Cyclone.
like,
Yeah.
yo, SMD, Trey Young, this and that. Like it's hilarious, bro. How they were in Philadelphia screaming F Embiid in their own stadium. Like
I was
that's
there for
absurd.
that. I was actually in that mob.
For
Really, you were in
real?
Philadelphia for that
I
game.
was in that mob. Yeah, we were all screaming "fuck Embiid." I was with my cousins, and it was a great time
That's
in Philly.
hilarious.
It really was, man. That was nuts. By the way, that was insane. Us Knicks fans are crazy. We definitely could take over arenas like that. It's something. But yeah, Celtics fans are so insufferable, man. Just so insufferable. I'm
Yeah.
sick of it. I really am. So
Do you get a chance to go out to any of the games?
so it sucks, man. MSG is so damn expensive. Let me just
Mhm.
say that first and
Oh, yeah.
foremost. Like we were considering traveling to Indiana for the games there. I mean, it was so much cheaper. It was to the point where you could get a hotel, you could fly, and get tickets to the game for cheaper than it would have been to go to Madison Square Garden.
That's
So
insane.
so like yeah, of course I get the chance to go to a game, but it's also like I really don't get the chance to go to a game. So it's
Yeah.
rough, man. It's great, but it's historical, but it sucks, man. It sucks.
But but you have been to one then previously?
Oh, I went a few years ago when Trey Young absolutely dicked us down and sent us home. So
Okay.
that was a fun time.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good times
I
in
I
the Knicks life.
I I only ask because I feel like I've been to a couple of NBA games in different cities and like I don't know. Knicks is definitely one on the list because I feel like the energy in there they bring it every time. I mean, it's the Garden. You have to.
We do. We definitely do. It's historical. It's worth the visit. It's just a
Yeah.
lot of money.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious, like, what's the average price for like nosebleeds?
So for the regular season, it's really not that terrible. It's definitely a lot more in MSG than it is in almost any other stadium. But I want to say during the regular season, nosebleeds are probably like 70, $80. Come playoff time, this past series, it was for the conference finals, I want to say like 500 to get in the door. So
Damn. That
so
is
it
not
was it
worth it.
was it was real bad, bro. It was really, really bad. So I can only imagine like somehow one day when we make the finals, hopefully next year, what that is going to be. Like I want to go and I can't. Like
Jesus.
I don't have the ability to do that right now. So it's it sucks, man. But regular season aren't crazy, but it's definitely not fun come playoff time.
That is wild because game 4 in Indianapolis against Boston nosebleeds was 70, $80.
Yeah.
I believe, if I remember correctly. That's absurd. I mean, like what you said, I'm in $500 for nosebleeds during the playoffs. Imagine it is the finals, depending on who they play to. You know, it's a team from the Western Conference. A lot of
God
stars going to
forbid
be
it's
there
the
most
Lakers.
likely. That was literally what I was going to say next. If it's a team that LeBron James is on, yeah,
Or unless he's on the Knicks.
they,
So
Yeah.
so
That
unless
would be
he's on the
crazy.
Knicks, then the ticket
Jeez.
prices are going to be like 15 grand. So like we can forget
yeah,
about that one. But
Dude,
it's sick.
it probably looked like the Grammys in there. New York, LeBron playing in like a finals or playoff series. Yeah. Dude,
Oh
the
yeah,
nosebleeds would be covered with celebrities. No one's
only
getting
one's
in
getting in the
there.
door. Only
no
Yeah.
one's
one's
getting
getting in
there.
the door.
It's gonna be as expensive as getting in the Met Gala, however expensive that is. But that's
Yeah.
literally what it would be like, man. That's absurd.
Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
I don't want to segue us, but you kind of briefly said Knicks next year, high potential. What do you think is going to be their toughest matchup to get to that peak?
Like, what team am I fearing the most?
Yeah, because I mean, after this season, it really seems like you guys stick out as a name that will be in that conversation for Eastern Conference Finals next year. So like, yeah, like who do you guys think you'll have to go through?
First of all, I appreciate the compliment. I really pray. You can never be sure with the Knicks, to be quite honest with you. So it's the Celtics. Who else? Like, I think the Sixers are scary for reasons come this offseason. They have money. Tyrese is only getting better. But realistically, it's the Celtics. I mean, they're gonna still have Porzingis. Everyone's locked up, so they're gonna be this great for probably the next 4 or 5 years. So I'm a little nervous about the Celtics. I think they're tough to beat, but I think with a full healthy squad, we would have had a shot. Let's see
Damn,
who else in the
Tibbs.
Eastern Conference. The Bucks. That's it.
Yeah.
I
We'll
don't know
we'll get a
about the
good
Bucks, man. They're
Yeah,
just
call me crazy. I'm not, bro. The Bucks are like such an afterthought for me. I don't know why. They just are. I don't know. Am I crazy? Is that a casual take, or is there some sense you guys see in me
nah,
believing this?
man. I agree with you. They're getting old. They're one of the oldest teams in the NBA, if not the oldest. And
Bad defense.
yep. And then like losing Drew Holiday was a big piece for them. Damian Lillard got injured. Giannis got injured. How healthy are they going to be able to stay? And I feel like the East is getting more and more competitive. We saw Magic take Cleveland, I think the seven almost was it 6 or 7? I can't
It
remember.
was 7. It was
It was
game 7.
7.
Most
So yeah, just
disgusting game 7 I've ever seen.
I
yeah.
didn't even turn that series on him.
So like the East is just getting more and more competitive. I don't know if the Bucks can keep up.
I don't know. It's still Giannis and Dame. That's how I look at it. Like I don't want to face Giannis and Damian Lillard in a 7 game series, no matter what. Like, and I expect that they'll make moves all along the margins and stuff. And Chris Middleton, I think he's a free agent this offseason, but likely going to end up back there, I'm assuming. So as long as you have those three, I fear you. Like I will not want to play in a 7 game series against that team. So
I will say I definitely agree with you that probably Bucks outside of Celtics are probably your guys is going to be like that team that you have to go against because I wouldn't if I were you guys I definitely wouldn't be afraid of like Magic, Heat, any of those teams. But at the same time, like you said, giving Dame and Giannis a year to settle in, kind of come back hungry, it's definitely going to be something that could be a little bit too much for other teams. But I think I don't know. I got shut up this year by the Knicks. I wasn't like saying that they were going to be bad. I just didn't really know. I wasn't familiar with their game. I didn't know that they were going to come out and do what they did. They played so well together this year, and they just look like a really well-oiled machine, honestly.
yeah, I was very happy to see that too, to be honest, but also heartbroken because the true potential didn't even get to show. Like we lost half of our rotation and we were screwed from there. I mean, Jalen Brunson turned into I think we could safely say a top 10 player in the NBA. I'm curious as to what non-Knicks fans feel about that one, but I think he's cemented himself as a top 10 player in the NBA. Nobody had to hold the burden that he did this past season, and then especially in the playoffs. So I don't know, for what he was able to do for us as a Knick fan, I owe that man everything, everything. So I love Jalen, man. But Julius Randle got to get healthy. OG Anunoby got to get healthy and stay on the team. But yeah, I think fully healthy, the Knicks are the second best team in the Eastern Conference, in my personal opinion. So that's where I stand.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
high
not a
on them.
Pacers fan, so I won't disagree.
No, I mean, I definitely agree them being the second best team in the Eastern Conference. Like you said, OG's got to stay on the team. I believe Hartenstein is also a free agent too, if I'm not corrected. So they got to bring all those guys back. They got to be healthy. And then I really think they could go on a great run. But we appreciate your finals prediction. Boston in 7 is what Matt from BallGame Pod has for us in this upcoming NBA Finals. If you guys want our predictions, I believe we said them earlier, but if not, check out last week's episode. See our debate with a Celtics fan. It got interesting.
All right, and if you guys made it this far into the episode, we want to thank you guys for watching, and we hope you guys enjoyed our guest Matt from BallGame Pod. Make sure to subscribe to them. Their link's going to be in the bio of the description. And if you guys enjoyed us as well, like and subscribe, and also give us a rating on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Helps us out a ton. And back to the pod.
But moving on to our next topic here, got a fun one planned for us, boys. Got the finals coming up. So ESPN released a bracket on Instagram the other day of the best finals MVPs of all time. So we have a list of how many is it here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16 NBA Finals MVPs, and they threw them into a bracket. And as a collective group, we are going to complete it and see who comes out on top. So I got the players here in the bracket as well. I also wrote down their stats as well in case you guys don't know how well they did that year. So you guys, that will be available if needed. Starting off with the left side of the bracket, we have 2016 LeBron James versus 2022 Steph Curry.
Which LeBron?
2016 LeBron James averaged 29.7 points, 11.3 rebounds, 8.9 assists. 2022 Steph Curry, 31.2 points, 6 boards, 5 assists.
Curious where you guys go with this.
Hey man, my head's in 2016 LeBron. I mean, come on, coming back down 3-1, you got to go with him.
Yeah, it's historical context there. I mean, numbers just to a point just don't matter to that extent.
Yeah.
It's like Curry could have averaged 35 against that Celtics team, and I really would still be like 2016 LeBron because that was like the greatest. That was the greatest regular season basketball team we've ever seen. And then LeBron said, "Oh, let me put myself down 3-1 just to make it the most historical finals ever."
Yeah.
So
it definitely the most memorable like finals I've ever witnessed for sure. The way I look at it is that's 2016 LeBron might be the best form we've ever seen him in. And I know people would probably like argue that and say, you know, Heat LeBron, all this other stuff, but I mean, come on. That Cavaliers LeBron was averaging 40. I mean, he was ridiculous, and I just on paper, I guess I would look at it as that was the best version of LeBron to me. Was 2022 Curry the best version of himself? No, not really. Like we had seen him playing even better in the past. I mean, that no discrediting to his performance, obviously, but yeah, I think this is an obvious answer. Let's go 2016 LeBron.
For sure. Like Matt said, the numbers are there, but at the end of the day, it comes down to aura. We're going 2016 LeBron for this right here.
thanks.
Go ahead and write this in. Been a big word thrown around recently. So up next, we have 1995 Hakeem Olajuwon versus 2019 Kawhi Leonard. So sum up the stats real quick. Kawhi in 2019, 28.5 points, 9.8 boards, 4.2 assists. Olajuwon in 1995, 32.8 points, 11.5 boards, 5.5 assists. Which way we going, fellas?
Jesus.
Yeah. Even man put it together that year without Jordan. Without Jordan in the league.
I'll just say something real quick. Kev, when you came on the podcast yesterday, you saw my Kawhi bias. I'm a massive Kawhi Leonard fan.
Yes.
Even I can't back that. Like that is 32.5 and as a center, 5.5 assists and 12 rebounds. Yeah. All right. Hakeem, you could have it, brother. Like that's all you, man.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Hakeem, even though that Kawhi run was magnificent. But like you said, 32, 11, and 5 is absolutely dominant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually a hater of the past. I'm not gonna lie. Like if on paper, if I had to go like the old heads or some of our newer guys, I'm always gonna go the newer guys. But yeah, I guess you can't really compete with that kind of numbers. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go Hakeem too.
All right. I was just letting you know, this ain't no other old head. This ain't Bob Cousy.
No,
This
I
is
know.
Hakeem
It's not
the
that.
dream. But letting y'all know, feel free to disagree. If anything ever comes up, no right in the bandwagon, but we'll go with Hakeem Olajuwon right
If
here.
you pick up any form of Westbrook on this list, I'm gonna pick him over anyone.
This is
Well,
Finals MVP.
Good thing that Westbrook never won a
MVP.
Finals MVP.
Oh fuck! Okay, yeah. I thought never mind. That'll get cut.
By the way, I'm gonna let you two go first on these, and then if we need a deciding vote, I'll be the deciding vote. So
Bet. So third matchup in the left side of the back bracket, we have 2003 Tim Duncan versus 2006 Dwayne Wade. 03 Duncan averaged 24.2 points, 17 boards, 5.3 assists. D Wade in 06, 35.2 points, 8.2 boards, 5.4 assists. No, I lied. I looked at the wrong row. D Wade 2006, 34.7 points, 7.8 boards, 3.8 assists. Tim Duncan is still the same though.
Sorry, what was Tim Duncan's rebounds?
17
17. God damn.
with
Uh
24.2 points and 5.3 assists. I think this one's pretty close.
yeah, this one is close. You know,
But
my
D Wade was like 22 or
That
23
was,
years old
he
when he
was
did this.
super young, bro.
that's what I was
Insanely
about
young.
to say. That was the Miami Heat's first title, I believe. And for D Wade to lead that team with Shaq, my heart's with D Wade, man. I mean, dude, 35 is insane. I mean, I love Tim Duncan too. I think he's all time great and very underrated, but I'm gonna go with Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's tough. Gosh. I I think I'm gonna have to go with D Wade on this one, just because of him being younger and like fuck, dude. It's tough. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go D Wade. I mean, as insane as that rebound number is, I think I'm still gonna have to go D Wade on this one. Especially because all time I would probably put D Wade a little bit above him. And I don't know, that early in your career to do that, that's insane. I'm gonna give it to D Wade on this one.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you just say you put D Wade above Tim Duncan?
He did.
All time.
Please
Yeah,
take that
no.
back. I beg you.
We'll give you a second to take it back.
I beg you to take that back.
If I don't take it back, Victor's just gonna cut it, so I'll take it back. No, Tim Duncan is better than D Wade. Yeah, no.
I mean, you're obviously allowed your opinion, but like, but no,
Opinions can be wrong.
Yeah,
yeah,
opinions
Yeah,
but
opinions can
no.
be wrong for sure.
Nah, that finals MVP was crazy though. That one version of Wade is like one of the best playoff performers we've ever seen. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't need to have a deciding vote here, but I'd also go with Dwayne Wade. It's another sweep, so
Got a sweep here going with D Wade. Then finishing up the left side of the bracket, we have 1971 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar versus 2017 Kevin Durant. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in 1971, 27 points, 18 and a half boards, 2.8 assists. KD in 2017, 35.2 points, 8 boards, 5.5 assists.
you know, this is gonna sound crazy. I think I'm gonna go with Kareem, just because I think with that loaded
I don't think that's
Warriors
crazy.
offense, with this loaded Warriors offense, you know, I'm gonna have to go with Kareem, man. How many boards did you say he had? That was insane.
18.2,
Yeah.
What year did you say it was for Kareem?
71. I don't think it's crazy that you went with Kareem over KD there. I
tell
don't
him
think
that,
it's that crazy.
tell him you hate the old heads. Go ahead. Tell him you hate the old heads.
Oh, he stated that earlier. He took D
Yeah,
Wade over
no,
Duncan.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I obvious answer to me would be KD. But even just like to your point, I think you said Victor that that team was loaded with offensive players. I know Kevin has made this comment before, and I'm kind of jumping on that bandwagon too. I mean, it's still difficult to average as many points as he did, even with a supporting cast that he did. I mean, and they still had to go through a lot of good teams. I mean, I would say like from 2016 to 2022, we saw some really good basketball play, and a lot of our favorite players right now were at their peaks. So, we may not remember every single playoff series that was that year, but I'm sure if I remember correctly, KD still had to put on his big boy jacket and big boy pants and, you know, pull them out of out of a few series. So, yeah, I'm gonna go KD on this one. To me, this is easy.
Oh wow. Okay, so now I do get the deciding vote. All right, I'm like the biggest Kevin Durant hater. Like on my pod, I'm a notorious Kevin Durant hater. But bro, 35 is 35. I know how great that team was, but he stared down the barrel against LeBron and like kind of said, "Yeah, I'm the best player in the world now." I remember that was the discussion that offseason. I have to go with Kevin Durant, bro. That was crazy. Like, granted, if this was 2018 when it was against literally just LeBron James, I would say I would take Kareem, but Nah, man, like this was 17 back when LeBron still had Kyrie too. So, and they just demolished them, walked right through them. The year after that, they lost in the finals to the Cavs. So,
I honestly hated the Warriors when Kevin Durant went there.
me too.
It took me until they beat Boston 2 years ago for me to appreciate Steph Curry. I'm not gonna lie.
Same here.
All right. So we got KD finishing up the left side of the bracket. And now moving on to the right side, we have 2000 Shaquille O'Neal versus 2023 Jokic. Shaq in 2000 average 38 points, 16.7 boards, 2.7 blocks per game. Didn't give his assists because he probably wasn't getting any. And then Jokic in 2023, 30 points, 14 boards, 7 assists. Battle of the big men right here.
All right. What was Shaq's points again?
38.
38?
38 points in that 2000 finals. That's absurd.
All right. Well, I love Jokic, but see you later, buddy. I mean, 38 is insane. What the hell is that shit?
Yeah, that's hard. That's
Yeah, I'm actually not a big like Shaq fan, but come on now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no arguing against 38 points per game. Like,
Yeah.
what am I even supposed to say?
Yeah,
That,
honestly,
yeah, dominance.
I didn't hear Kevin say 38 at first, but damn, 38's crazy. I'm gonna have to go with Shaq too. That's
and
just
damn
dominant.
and damn near 17 boards too, 16.7. Average more points, average more rebounds than Jokic. I love Jokic
So
very, very much, but I can't even deny this one here. It's just that's absurd. That shouldn't
Yeah.
be allowed.
that was 2000. I think that was the year they went 16-1 in the playoffs too. You correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys remember that. I'm pretty sure the Lakers went 16-1 in that playoff run and just walked through the NBA. Like just walked through it.
I mean,
So,
shit, even if I didn't know that for sure, when you have your center doing this and you still have Kobe Bryant on your team, I'm surprised they lost the game.
yep. Yeah, I'd agree.
That's,
But
who took that game from them? That's when the
That's a good question. You can run through the
I'm
next
looking
one.
that
I'm
up.
gonna find this out.
that'd be a good trivia question. But moving
Yeah.
clean sweep for Shaq there. Pretty obvious. Moving on to the next round. Not next round, next game in the bracket of the right side. We have 1986 Larry Bird versus 1980 Magic Johnson. Sorry, Daniel, we got two old timers in here. Larry Bird in 86, 24 points, 9.7 boards, 9.5 assists. Magic Johnson in 1980, 21 and a half points, 11.2 boards, 8.7 assists. Both of them almost averaging a triple double.
What was Bird's rebounds and assists?
Bird's rebounds was 9.7, assists 9.5.
Jeez.
the reason why I keep asking the dates is because I want to see who their matchup was.
Yeah.
That's usually why that's usually what I base my decision off of. Because in that last one where it was like I'm trying to fix my headphones because they fell out. No, in that last one, I think where it was KD, like I forgot who we went up against, but the other team was just shit. Like it was I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Larry Bird on this one. Not gonna lie.
Were you thinking, Matt?
I I think I'm probably gonna go Larry Legend too. I mean, yeah, the near 10 boards and near 10 assists is kind of crazy. Even though Magic ain't too far off, it's just man, and they probably played each other for both of these for like different years for all I know. Like they just
Right.
played each other every single year. So
Yeah.
yeah, nah,
Even in
that
college.
exactly. Like they were the dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Larry on that one.
Yeah, that's where my heart was at too.
Another clean sweep.
Clean sweep for Larry. All right. Last two games in the far right bracket. We got '09 Kobe Bryant versus this could be crazy versus 1969 Jerry West.
Oh Lord.
But I'm gonna get to it. Kobe Bryant in '09, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 7.5 assists. Jerry West in 1969, 38 points, 4.7 boards, 7.4 assists.
Is that the year he lost?
I think that's the year he lost, and he still won Finals
Finals
MVP,
MVP.
but he was averaging 38. So it kind of makes sense. It's funny because we had this discussion yesterday on your podcast. Like,
Yep.
if what would Luka have to do to win Finals MVP, even if they lose? This is what he would have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I said
Minimum.
40-point triple double at minimum.
Yeah,
I said if he
at the
averages
bare
a
minimum.
40-point triple double and they lose in the finals, he deserves to get finals MVP.
Exactly.
I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
Man, I think the fact that Jerry West lost, averaging 38.7, I'm gonna have to go with Kobe, man. Kobe was a dog then too. I love Kobe Bryant, so I'm gonna go Kobe.
Yeah, again with just the matchups. You said it was '09, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess it's not 10, so it's not against the Celtics, but
That's the Magic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
The Magic team was pretty damn good.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, in no universe, I'm like acting like I'm gonna fucking pick Jerry West. I'm not. It's Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
Bro's literally the NBA logo. You're just dismissing him. Not saying I'd pick Jerry West over Kobe, but Jerry West isn't a nobody.
No, no, he's not.
I would rather have 32 in a ring than 38 and no ring. So
It's a good point.
Yeah. The loss here, I feel like it was a big deciding factor. But got another clean sweep there.
Wait one sec. Doesn't mean a thing without the ring. That's all I gotta say.
exactly.
We've seen it.
Charles Barkley
So
catches shit all the time.
he does. So moving on to our very last game of the first round, we have 2021 Giannis versus 1993 three-peat Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan in this series in the finals, 41 points, 8.5 boards, 6.3 assists. Giannis, 35 points, 13 boards, 5 assists. 41 is just, can I just put Jordan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. We're all Bulls fans besides Matt. We gotta go Jordan.
What the hell is that shit?
That's crazy. That's, yeah. Yeah.
Giannis didn't even
that's what I'm
stand a
saying.
chance, and he had one of the greatest game sevens we'd ever witnessed. Or game six, whatever it was, the
Game
closeout
six,
game.
yeah. Yeah, they had like what, 50?
Yeah,
50 that
50.
game?
And
Absurd.
they won 4 straight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was wild. Reverse sweep, baby.
Yeah, no one ever talks about that finals and the run that Giannis had in the finals. It's pretty interesting, but very, very, very slept on, I will say.
If I was building like an all-time team, like I don't know, Giannis is one of the players that's at the top of my list. That's a tough one.
That's
He's
an
up there.
interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
really
just
can be.
athleticism and everything that he offers on the court. Like, I almost have to have him as a spot on my list. I mean, like, I think my center position might be Shaq because, whatever. That just makes sense to me. But I would always have to have Giannis on my squad.
Well, any team I make is going to crush yours because spacing that you have is 0.
I was about to say, who the fuck is shooting the ball?
It's a good point. I don't know.
Man.
I guess I figure rebounding would be an issue enough for whoever fucking Kevin puts on this shit. Then again, there are some
Honestly.
good names out there you could throw in.
Yeah.
Definitely is. We're going to go ahead and move on to the second round here, starting off with the left side. 2016 LeBron versus 95 Olajuwon.
All right, I'll start. It has to be LeBron. Like, it still does.
Yeah.
It still
That's
does.
what
Just the context of the situation, the team he played against, like, he has to keep going.
Yeah.
It can't stop now.
He's definitely
Yeah.
the Boston Celtics of this bracket. If he loses somehow, this is rigged. This is bad.
Yeah, I was going LeBron too, man. That finals run is historic. No team in history has ever done that before. Gotta send LeBron.
Got a clean sweep there. So meeting LeBron in the conference finals for NBA Finals MVP of all times, we either have 06 D Wade or 2017 KD? Like this could get hot here.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. Start this off.
Shit, I'm going D Wade, man. 22 years old to be doing that. Led the Heat to their first title. Give me D Wade. I might
I
just be
mean,
hating. I might just be
no,
hating.
like I don't know. Is it too much to say that KD like really hasn't proven? And because Victor said earlier, about the offense thing, and then I kind of rebutted with, you still got to score a lot of points even with a good offense. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like KD maybe hasn't proven that outside of that he can lead a team the same way that D Wade did. I guess I have to go D Wade.
Yeah, I would have agreed with you guys. I mean, he averaged just as many with a lesser supporting cast, and he was more relied upon to do that too. So he had like if he didn't, they wouldn't have had a shot. So if
I,
KD
I'd
averaged 28, they still got a pretty decent fucking shot at winning that finals. So
yeah.
They
I,
still have a phenomenal chance.
out of curiosity, Matt, where do you rank D Wade all time? Like on shooting guards. Sorry, shooting guards.
oh, shooting guards, damn. So obviously MJ. After that, who else are the mainstays? Like I'm gonna miss someone, and then I'm gonna get
Kobe.
shredded in the Oh yeah, yeah. Why am I forgetting Kobe Bryant? Jerry West is up. I think he's considered as a shooting guard all time. It's between that or point guard. I mean, and then I'd probably have D Wade fourth. It's either between him and Jerry West where I would put him, and I wouldn't even
Right.
mind putting him above Jerry because like I didn't watch Jerry West, so what the hell do
Yeah.
I know? But he is the NBA's logo, and I mean that holds a lot of weight in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably put him 3 or 4. No lower than that though.
Just curious because that's definitely where I think we all have our general consensus as
Right.
D Wade in 3 or 4.
So where do you
Uh,
put Tim Duncan all time on the power forward list?
On
10.
that list, I think he's number one.
And then where do you put him all time on your list overall?
Yeah.
50th.
I don't know, man.
Just a question. 5 titles and like 3 MVP or 2 MVPs isn't enough for you, I guess.
It's dude. It's like I don't know. I mean, I just didn't. I guess I just didn't watch enough Tim Duncan like play, and because I've said this before, like I don't know much about like his game. All I know is that I know he was on that Spurs team, and that Spurs team had 2 other Hall of Famers, and it like I don't know. It's just it definitely to me seems like he was in a really good situation, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. But D Wade, man, I don't know. He sticks out to me. He's a star. I like D Wade a lot. That was also around the same like I started watching NBA. I would say around like that Heat final series. Yeah, so that's gonna be my pick.
While that's fair, I hate to like, run us off the tracks here. They
No,
given
you're
that
good.
have a Tim Duncan conversation real quick. The year that Tim Duncan was drafted, David Robinson got hurt the year prior, which gave them the first overall pick. And then Timmy D steps in, and in his rookie year, I'm pretty sure he won Finals MVP. So it
Yeah.
wasn't really like him having the 2 Hall of Famers that made him great. It was he stepped in, and it was like, oh shit, like that's the guy. Like that's the guy. So,
Yeah,
but Timmy D was so goddamn boring as a superstar that it's like, you forget how goddamn great this guy was at literally every aspect of basketball. Like he was the prototype of like what you would want in today's NBA at the 5 position, even before that. So,
yeah. No, that's
right.
a good point. Like I said, I mean, I don't like. I feel like I don't know enough about Tim Duncan. Like I that's kind of yeah. No, I think maybe I need to reevaluate my opinion. Low
I'm
key.
higher on him than most people are too. So that's just where I'm at with Timmy D.
No, that's
Love
fair
him.
because all these guys are in the same boat as you. Like they definitely yeah. It's definitely a 3-to-1 situation for sure.
It's fair. It's fair. At least we have D Wade in the same spot almost. So, all
Yeah.
right,
Are we
All right, so
sending
now we're
LeBron
starting
though?
off.
we have to. Do we
Because
continue with this side of the bracket?
yeah, I think because we had LeBron and D Wade, right, left, and then we
How
just send them.
poetic.
Yeah, send LeBron to the final.
Yeah.
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 Sure. So LeBron is going to the final.
We know what this
Now
is
we
going to
get
end
to
up being, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
We
exactly.
I
know
think I
exactly
think
where
this
this is
is
We gotta
going.
I
see.
think this is what Kevin wanted too.
Gotta see where it goes
This
forth.
is
Hey,
exactly what he
I
wanted.
didn't make this bracket. This was pretty set. ESPN knows. ESPN knew what they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making this shit.
Yeah.
But finishing up the right side, we have 2000 Shaq versus 86 Larry Bird. Where our heads
Send
at?
Shaq.
I would pick Shaq as well.
Yeah, Shaq.
38.
Sending the big diesel. Then it's gonna be another crazy one, depending on who you ask. Thank God there's no Lakers fans in here. 09 Kobe, 93 Jordan.
It ain't even a debate.
Yeah, no.
I love
To
you,
logical,
Cohen. I love
to
you,
logical
Cohen.
people, it's not.
To watch.
John, we have a buddy that definitely would put Kobe above on that for sure.
Bro, 41, man. You
Yeah,
can't
no,
even argue with 41.
yeah. You can't
Like-
argue with this kid
Hey.
either, so
People argue 2 + 2 is not 4. So
yeah.
You're right. We are in a
You can
different
argue it.
generation now. We are in a different
We are.
generation now. No, I think it's Jordan. It's obvious it's Jordan.
Yeah. So now we have Shaq and Jordan.
What's better than 38? 41.
Three
Yeah.
more.
So
Three more than 38.
that finals
So
run
now-
from Shaq was dominant, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Jordan too.
and it was the three-peat.
Repeat
That was
before
the
the
third one.
repeat.
Granted,
Yeah.
Shaq did go on to three-peat, but that wasn't the three-peat. Jordan
Yeah.
averaged 41 in a year that he had all the pressure on him to go three.
Yeah.
Like that makes it even crazier.
Yeah.
So
Okay, honestly, yeah, you kind of just like I wasn't really gonna go Shaq. Like I was still gonna go Jordan, but you pushed me like way over the edge. And the only reason why I was thinking about it was because I'm very big on, like I said, with the whole like, because we talked in detail about like what we would do on like on our all-time team. You know, I've been very adamant about Curry being my point guard, but like that whole Shaq and Giannis thing, like I just can't bring myself to pull out one of those guys because of how dominant they are. And in my head, I imagine that they would just change the scope of any finals matchup that you would put him into. I mean, like, you know, you put Shaq against Jordan in that final series 2003. I don't know how well that's going to go, but that's a very fantasy situation. I'm still going to go with, you know, the ghost that everyone's been chasing in Chicago. Give me 03 Jordan. Yeah.
93.
93 Jordan.
Oh, fuck.
03 Jordan.
three Jordan.
Did not
My
be
fault.
here.
I definitely would not pick that one. No.
Neither would I.
Wizards Jordan.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, that was the time. But now, the big question: we're in the final of the two greatest NBA Finals MVPs of all time, according to us four, and what we have picked. We have 2016 LeBron James versus 1993 Michael Jordan. Who is the greatest NBA Finals MVP of all time?
Man, I'd like to hear you go first, man.
It's almost
I'm-
like the two greatest basketball players to ever live.
I
Yeah.
know.
Wow, what a surprise.
Some would say.
What a surprise this one ended up this way. As if we can't get enough of the Jordan LeBron debates. I mean, look, for all the reasons that I just listed, Jordan, to move on, LeBron James is my GOAT, first and foremost. But Michael Jordan, that might be the greatest finals MVP we'll ever see, given the pressure of the situation and the fact that he averaged 41 points. I don't care who he went against. To average 41 on a year that you had to three-peat, come on. Like it's signed, sealed, and delivered from me, I think.
I'm not as much of a Bulls fan as these two other gentlemen here, but I mean you can't really discredit what Jordan obviously did with that three-peat, but if you're putting aside the three-peat in the history and you're just looking at finals MVP of that year, honestly, I'm big on LeBron. Like I think I'm gonna take him on this one. I know I've said it. I'm gonna stop saying it now because I think the game is over. But yeah, like when I just think about who I'd want on a team, that version of LeBron is the greatest athlete I think I've ever seen touch the court. I mean, granted, I'm not going back on YouTube and watching highlights of Jerry West. Jerry West catching strays a lot right now this
A
episode
lot.
from me, but but it's okay. But yeah, no. All jokes aside, I really do think that LeBron James is the better player. Just going matchup to matchup. I'm sorry, Victor, but I'm gonna go Jordan, or I'm gonna go LeBron on this one.
Well, I'll be the tiebreaker. And if you thought I was going LeBron, you were wrong. I'm going Jordan. Come on, man. Got to represent Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, the LeBron is close, man, given the circumstances too. But Come on.
Just looking at everything else, it's just it. I would love to see other people's perspective on this too.
Well, it's
Might just
very
have to go on
split.
the street one day
I was
and just
about to
see what
say.
people have to say. Do like one of those public interviews. But despite all of our disagreements here, Michael Jordan, 1993, greatest finals MVP of all time, according to us four right here. GMLB. Thank you, ESPN, for the list. Let us know down below who you guys thought and if we made any mistakes, and if so, what. We'll love to read them. I know I'll definitely read them. But so that was our interactive segment right there. Now we're going to move on a little bit to some off-season talk about in-season, talk about the past. Now we're going to talk about some off-season. Specifically, what NBA teams you guys as individuals would like to see active and make some moves in the off-season. I'm going to give the floor to our guest here first. We're letting you set the tone.
All right. So thank you, first of all. Come on, man. What other team would I pick? It's got to be my boys. I need to see us do something this offseason. We have to capitalize on the momentum that we built this season and the promise that we showed. And I think there's no better time to go all in than right now. So the problem is, who exactly does that entail? And it leads me to a few names, but there's one. There's one that I think every Knick fan has at the top of their list. And it's not a superstar, but it's a guy that's going to fill in the gaps and create the ultimate team of friendship, is how I'll put it. Mikal Bridges needs to be on the New York Knicks next season. It's just that simple. I don't care. I'm going to be dead honest. People in the chat, in my group chat, call me crazy all the time for this. I don't care if it costs 5 first-round picks. You go get Mikal, and I promise you, we will win the NBA championship next year. I already said it. So I said in the chat, and I handshake agreement with a few of my podcasts, both my podcast co-hosts, that if we traded for Mikal this offseason, I would go and get a Knicks 2025 NBA champion tattoo. Made a handshake agreement with them that if we went and did that, I would go get the tattoo. So yeah, part of me is really hoping for it, and then another part of me is like, is this really going to be my first tat? But
What did
yeah,
I do?
like I look, I don't care what it costs. As a Knicks fan, I would love to see that. And I think it makes us arguably the best and most complete team in the NBA. But not only just that, I think you need to go sign a point guard, a backup point guard, might I add. And then preferably another big man off the bench, because I think Mitch would probably be involved in the trade to match salaries and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's as simple as it. I say simple, but you got to go get Mikal, whatever it takes. I don't care. Send Brooklyn, whatever it takes, and then make a couple depth piece signings, and I think we're good to go from there. But yeah, man, I think that makes us the team to beat. I really do think it puts us right up there with the Boston Celtics and against the Dallas Mavericks or the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference. So that's what I think.
If you get that tattoo, it will be better than the Nasri tattoo. So
You think I go viral for it? I hope so.
Yeah. Everyone that does something like that, they usually do. But I actually had the Knicks on my list too. I have this weird feeling, very weird feeling that they will move from Julius Randle this offseason. Package him somewhere, get something for him. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling I have that I just can't describe it.
As a Knicks fan, I'd be heartbroken, man. I would. Because, like, Julius started this thing. Like, he really did. Brunson, of course, took it to a whole nother level, but Julius Randle started this, man. Like, without him, we aren't where we are today. So he kind of came in, him and Tom Thibodeau, like, went about changing the culture in New York. And for that, I love Julius Randle, man. And I was the biggest Julius Randle hater. But then this season, he turned himself into a different version of him. Like, he was attacking the rim a lot more. Bro, you're 6'8", 260. Like, it took you this long to realize that your best shot is inside the paint. So yeah, I loved this version of Randall, and I think we can win with that guy. I really do. So that's why I think Mikal is the perfect candidate too, because you keep the spacing. You don't need to include the Julius Randle contract because Mikal's not making that much money. And I don't know, man. It gives you the craziest starting five potentially in the entire NBA. So yeah, and of course you got to re-sign OG. You got to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein. The Hartenstein thing is a little complicated. I don't know if you guys know the exact details of it. Of course I do because I'm a Knicks fan. we can only offer him 16.7 million for the next 2 years if we want to. That's the max contract we could give him because of like NBA cap things, whatever it is. But yeah, so I think hopefully Isaiah accepts like a 2 year deal with a player option for the second year, just a handshake agreement that it's like after this year, opt out and we're gonna give you a whole big bag because you deserve it, buddy. But yeah, so I'm scared as a Knicks fan. This is a terrifying offseason. This is the turning point for us. So I think this is huge. But
So
any other teams that you guys have? I'm very curious.
uh, out of curiosity, real quick, so like we've obviously talked a lot on here about like trade rumors and stuff, but I don't think this one has come up ever from to my knowledge. So you're like I said, you're obviously a lot closer to the situation. Is this something that Knicks fans want? Knicks fans are talking about? Is this something that, is really in the works or is does really have some potential, or is this more of just like, kind of what you would like to see from the Knicks? And if so, is there anyone that you guys are prepared to part ways with to make that happen, or do you guys just go into next year?
We're talking about Macau.
Yeah,
Who am I willing to part ways with? Oh my God. Everyone on this team is a folk hero now in New York. So it's like, it's heartbreaking. Like if we trade any of them, I don't want to trade Deuce McBride, but if he needs to be involved in the trade, then you kind of got to trade Deuce McBride. Yeah, I mean, I think the exact look of the trade would be something like I want to say Mitch and then someone making in like the $10 million range, maybe even go with Bogdanovich after he accepts his player option, which I know he's 18. So you get another guy that's like in that trade that just to match the salary and stuff. But look, I'm willing to give up whoever it takes outside of the Villanova four and probably Randall and Hartenstein, which granted that's a whole lot of fucking players. But you're not trading Josh, you're not trading Dante, you're definitely not trading OG after you sign him. It's not going to be a sign and trade. And then Randall's not going into Mikal Bridges deal either. So I just look, I don't care how we do it. If that entails Deuce, if that entails salary, if that entails 18 first round picks, just go make it happen, please. Just go make it
yeah,
happen. The power of friendship is so strong. We've seen that now.
yeah.
I need
Yeah.
it.
They need
You
a
could
thunder killer because next year I think it could be them too.
Yeah, that's very true as well. It's honestly, I will say, I don't think it's likely, given that it's the Nets, and why the fuck would they want to deal with the New York Knicks? So it's probably not likely, but it's definitely a thing among New York Knicks fans because that
Okay.
Villanova
Yeah.
four man is they want it. They want it
Yeah.
bad. So
one thing I
Yeah.
want to say about that is because I did see some Mikal Bridges news today, and I think the Nets are wanting to build around him and add like some stars. So I don't know if they're gonna trade him. It doesn't seem like they want to, but you can tell that he wants to go to New York, man. He's
oh yeah.
jealous. When I saw that pod with him, Jalen Brunson, and Josh Hart, he was like, damn, like y'all got fans like that in every arena, you know? They were talking about the fans being a home game, like at Miami, Philly, I think even Brooklyn too.
Yep. Josh was giving him shit for it. Josh was like really giving him shit for that. And I love that. I love that.
Josh is
I
great
th
on the mic. I love watching their clips and stuff because that dude is funny. And when just they're both funny, honestly. Brunson like messing with Josh all the time and stuff. They're a good group to watch.
Yeah, man. And bringing that college team back together could definitely help them. But back to what you asked us earlier, what teams we had in mind. You gave your team. I'm going to give mine to Chicago Bulls. The moves they need to make, blow it up. Fucking bomb it. I'm sick and tired of watching below mid basketball. It sucks. I have to deal with it with basketball and football. Blow it up. Send everybody away. I don't give a shit what we get back. Just blow it up. Please, God forbid, put me out of my misery even more than I already am. I would rather watch this team win 15 games than rather watch them win 38 and try to compete for a play-in tournament spot, possibly even playoffs, just to lose to the Celtics or the Knicks. Blow it up. Start it. Start the bombing with Voos. Please. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
I'm leaving it there.
the
That was
Bulls
from the
were
heart.
the Bulls were on my list too. I had two teams in mind. Man, I got half a season left in me with this terrible mid-ass roster before I asked for a FanDuel jersey because I've been rooting for the players I bet on more than the Bulls these past few years, man. I'm so sick and tired of watching Levine, DeMar, and Vooch. I just want to build around Kobe White. And I think the Bulls are also looking for a sign and trade with Patrick Williams. I saw something with the Oklahoma City Thunder that could be a possible option. DeMar DeRozan's an unrestricted free agent, but the Bulls plan to resign him for whatever reason. They haven't made a trade in
30
2
million a year.
years. Yeah.
They plan to offer DeMar DeRozan, who's 33 or 34, 30
I think he
40
might be
million
35.
dollars a year. I think he might be 35. I think I was being generous too, now that I'm thinking about it. They want to offer that guy almost 40 million freaking dollars. Like you can't write this. You can't make this up.
No.
He will be
It's
35 by the start of next season.
oh phenomenal.
So
Phenomenal. That's like when they signed 35-year-old Mike Dunleavy to a 3-year, $45 million deal.
come on, like
That's
DeMar,
like when they did that.
DeMar's still a hooper though. To be fair, DeMar's still a hooper. It's just he's getting wasted away in Chicago. Like I feel bad. I feel bad for DeMar and I feel bad for you guys because it's just the wrong fit. It doesn't work right now. But like DeMar still has great years left. Like we saw that this year.
Yeah.
He was still very good. You guys obviously way more attached to the situation than I am. But I still thought he was a pretty damn good basketball player. It's just he was a pretty damn good basketball player for a pretty damn mid roster. So that kind of
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
ruined the whole thing.
I
I mean,
love
it
how you
did. I mean, I wasn't trying to say that DeMar DeRozan and Dunleavy were comparable, but like the situation, 35 years old, let's give him a bag.
Yeah.
I love how you said wrong fit, but if you ask the Bulls front office, it's the right fit. They think this roster's still competitive and can play with the best teams when it doesn't make sense at all. But
Lonzo got a new meniscus.
yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know
I
about
think that man, I got slack for saying this, and I don't know if I should say it again, but a part of me thinks that that man just wants out of Chicago, and he's just been hanging out at his house playing video games, just wait until they're like, all right, fuck you, get off our team, and then he's just gonna miraculously make a comeback. But I don't think so. That's probably not what happened.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think they were so good with him.
Yeah, they were.
They were like so fun to watch too. Like I'd watch Bulls games and enjoy them. I haven't done that since D Rose.
We were ranked number one in the
Sure.
East for exactly like what 1 month.
2 or 3. They were second in the East at the All-Star break that year, which was 2021, I believe. 2021, like going into 2022, I believe. Absurd.
Yeah,
But
that's weird.
yeah, I'm ending
Um,
the Chicago Bulls conversation there.
one more team I had in mind for like an off season. I want to see them do something, and I really don't like them that much, but I would just like to see it with the competition in the East and how good the basketball has been recently is the 76ers. I'm curious to see what they're going to do because they have, I think, $65 million that could be potentially used in cap space. And I want to see them add a star next to Embiid and Maxey because honestly, this is the last couple of years that we're going to see Embiid be a Sixer because I think the trust in the process is dying out. I think they're starting to realize that, hey, we got only a couple years left of Embiid's prime before they need to blow that shit up. Because honestly, looking at the 76ers last season, if they were healthy, I think they could have won a deep playoff run. I haven't seen them be this good since that Jimmy Butler era, and I would have liked to see them be healthy and see what they could do.
it's interesting that you bring that name up because he's been in trade rumors, and he's been in trade rumors to that exact team. So
Yeah.
he wants that extension, and it don't seem like Pat Riley wants to give it to him. But the Sixers, on the other hand, there's reports that they would love to give Jimmy Butler an extension right now. So look, I don't think like I know a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, the bridges are burned in Philadelphia with Jimmy." That's different. That's a different GM. It's a different era of Philadelphia basketball, different roster. Tobias's ass is getting the fuck out of town, so you don't got to worry about Jimmy coming back and being like, "You paid this guy over me." Like, there's no tension there now because it's like, "Nope, we wanted you now. Sorry about back then." And it's a new GM, so it's Daryl Morey now. So Daryl Morey could be like, "Yeah, that wasn't me. That was Elton Brand. What the fuck do I care what he did?" So I think I personally agree with you 100%, and I think they need to go absolutely crazy to go get Jimmy Butler somehow, some way. Even though I think that Miami team is good, bro, if Philly gets Jimmy Butler, like that's almost like a perfect fit for them right now. But will Embiid ever stay healthy? That's really what it boils down to. So I don't know. I don't know. But let me throw two teams at you guys real quick and see what you guys have to say about this one. I wrote down, aside from my Knicks, I wrote down the Spurs because you better get on it with Victor Wembanyama now. Now's the time because we already see he's a top 25 talent in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Uh,
So to kind of compliment the Spurs right here, one team that I had down written that I feel like they could work with is Atlanta. Possibly getting Trae Young over there
yep.
because Trae Young is someone that can get Wemby the ball. He can space well and he can shoot. Defensively, yes, he's a liability. And with how old he is, and I'm don't assume that he wants to start from the bottom at this point in his career, which is why I'm not sure if it would work and if he would approve of that. But I feel like it would be a decent fit. You know, they possibly even get DeJounte back. I feel like Trae Young is a better fit than DeJounte would be. But the Hawks are one team that they could work with. I wrote the Hawks down. I don't even really care to see if they make moves. I think it'd be cool to see Trae Young get moved. Because I do believe that either him or DeJounte will be moved from Atlanta this year. I really don't see them trying out that duo for another year. I mean, over the last few years that they've been playing together, they have literally been the definition of mid. Aren't they like exactly 500?
Yep.
Like yeah. So blow it up, not blow it up, but make a move. So I feel like Atlanta is a team that could possibly make moves with the San Antonio Spurs, but the Spurs do have a young roster right now, very, very, very young and very inexperienced. You could see that watching their games last year, just kind of making bonehead plays, just things like that, which I feel like right now is okay. They did try running Jeremy Sohan at point guard. I don't know what they were thinking with that guy running the offense. But I feel like they have a little bit of time to kind of figure things out because of their young roster, the years that they do have. So I feel like they definitely have time, let this team develop a little bit. I remember seeing something yesterday on Twitter that the only two players on their team that are untouchable are Wemby and Devin Vassell.
As it should
So
be.
yes. So everyone else, fair game. So they could definitely make something happen.
I definitely think they should try to strike while the iron's hot. I think they should try to take full advantage and try to make whatever adjustments they need to make to give Wemby the best situation to succeed. Hold on. Is Pop still gonna be the coach next year
Yep.
too? Okay. So yeah, I
He's there
mean,
for another like 5 years.
He
I was
is.
gonna say, I
Not to
mean,
cut you off.
well, no, because like 2 years ago, I remember like hearing that, he's getting close to leaving, and then he gets a demigod, and it's like, well, okay, let's hold off our horses here. So yeah, I mean, if you're getting popped for a couple more years and you've got the second coming of Christ, you have to try to do anything you can to make that team work. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
I
want to see some
mean,
moves.
real quick to just piggyback off that and give my quick thoughts on that. I think it's perfect. I think Devin Vassell is the perfect third guy. That's first and foremost. You go get Trae Young. I mean, Devin Vassell gives me crazy Chris Middleton vibes. Like that's literally, I think, the most perfect comparison where it's like Wemby is Giannis. And then you go get Trae Young. No, it's not your Drew Holiday, but it's your Damian Lillard in a way. And then you have your Chris Middleton there and Devin Vassell, who's developing as well and only gotten better every single year of his career. I think when you have a talent like Victor Wembanyama, it's like, no, now is the time. Like it's not, we wait 2 years because the roster's young. Like, no, who's good right now? And if you're not, get the fuck off the team. So I think that would be awesome. Trey there, bro, the lobs. Oh my God. Wemby's gonna
Yeah.
have 250 lobs just throughout the season. It's gonna be crazy.
I do also like the Trae Young situation. I actually had made the prediction before the season started that Devin Vassell was. I think he was. What was he, Victor? For me, he was like my breakout player of the year or something.
Yeah, we were talking about like breakout players or something.
Yeah. So to me, it seemed obvious because, and I made this comment too. I was like, Wemby's gonna come on the team. He's obviously your number one guy. He's your go-to. So then the second option or the next guy on that team is still an NBA player. He's still unreal. He's obviously going to be good, but he doesn't have to take on so much of that load, and therefore he can focus more on his personal game because he's not that number one guy. And that's why it was such a clear answer for me that Devin Vassell was going to have a good year because he's just in that second role and he just has to play to his normal potential, which we saw was good. So I guess my point is that if they trade for someone, I don't see them at first. I didn't really see them needing to go with someone that's like at right now like a superstar or anything like that. But I think Trae Young would fit. I think he's not at the level where he's like bigger than the game of basketball. We know some players, LeBron, Curry, these players are a little bit bigger than that. Trae Young is in a position where I think he can really dig in and play well with that three starting lineup. I would really like to see that too.
Yeah, facts. One more team. I'll ask you guys. The Oklahoma City Thunder.
Run it back.
Is it time to make a move?
Whatever they do, do
roster.
not get KD. My vote.
They have the draft picks to get him, and
I was
Phoenix
gonna
needs draft
say
picks.
that.
It just works for everybody.
does,
It
right?
just
It does.
unfortunately works, and I hate that it works. But a reunion would be cool. Phoenix is in the dumps; they're in no man's land. No draft picks. OKC has more draft picks than they even need. They just got the 1 seed this year, and they have a lottery pick next month. So that's interesting. But they could make it happen. They could potentially bring KD over there. You know he would love it. That team just went number one. You know he'll be down 100%.
And then
I
it
feel
gives
like
the opportunity for redemption.
exactly to do what he wasn't able to do back in the day. But in
A lot
reality,
of haters wrong or
yeah,
right. Sorry, not wrong. I meant right.
to me, in reality, I feel like it's would be in their best interest to run it back. Let's see if maybe I'm not going to say they overachieved this season because the team that they lost to is in the championship right now. So I'm going to give them the flowers and say they had a great season because they did. Run it back. Holmgren going into his second year as a player. Everyone else is playing very well. I say they run it back and see where things go. Maybe pick up another name like we mentioned earlier, like Pat Williams. Definitely get another big. I
Yes,
think
that's what I was going to say.
they need a big. Maybe because you mentioned earlier, I wasn't aware of the Hartenstein situation, how they can only offer him 16 million. I would say go get him
Don't do it,
if
bro.
they're able
Stop,
to.
please, please.
I know.
Isaiah
That would
Hartenstein
definitely
sucks. He doesn't deserve to get paid. He's the worst player ever. Please don't throw that out there because they could pay him whatever they want.
literally whatever they want.
One of the unrestricted free agents that I think would be a good fit for the Thunder is Andre Drummond. I think one of the problems that OKC had was rebounding, and you bring in a guy like that, I think he could help them rebound. He was phenomenal for rebounding for the Bulls. Just adding him there would be great. Like I said with Kevin, I think last episode, I think they should run it back. I love that roster. I really do like the Thunder. I'm a fan of them. Love watching them. I don't know if I would want to move that team too much. I think the only player that they should get rid of is probably Gordon Hayward. It seemed like he didn't like it there. Sam Presti didn't seem like he was
That's a given.
confident in that. So get rid of Gordon Hayward, add another big.
But if that KD deal is potentially on the table, bro, it's almost like it's too perfect. The only position they really need is power forward because Giddy was just unplayable.
You can
Giddy-
move KD to power forward.
He pretty much plays power forward for the most part anyway. And then, I mean, you got a 7-footer in him, a 7-footer in Chet Holmgren. It gives you more size for sure. So,
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I just don't like Giddy on this Thunder team. I feel like he just doesn't fit.
he doesn't.
I really do not like him on this Thunder team. And then there's the other reasons outside of basketball, but which we've discussed hundreds of millions of times. Still make jokes about it because we can, and it's funny. And he's a sick-minded person. But well, we don't know that. But I just like adding it.
I wanted to make a comment about the Andre Drummond thing. Like, I think the biggest dilemmas for the Thunder into this season is going to be, like you guys said, they're basically sitting on a pot of gold. So whatever they want, they can pretty much go and get with some limitations. The dilemma is, sitting on a pot of gold, but do I even use it? Do we really just hunker down and with the team we have play through, or do we make some really big moves and kind of seal our fate as the next team to beat in the West. And then the other thing I think is just finding a good culture fit. Because right now, like you said, with the Knicks situation and kind of having a Villanova squad, like that's what you want. You want chemistry. Right now, I think we're seeing that the super team, and I said this, I think 2 weeks ago, super team eras, I think, are dying out. And what you're wanting to see is just very high chemistry based teams that play efficient ball together. And I think that's going to be the most biggest, or that's going to be the Thunder's biggest dilemma, is finding someone that is a good culture fit that's just going to come in there and make their team better and not kind of cause turmoil within the team that just basically prevents them to reaching their full potential. I don't see Andre Drummond as a good fit for the team, but yeah, that's just I guess from the Thunder, I also would like them to just kind of stay to what they are right now with their current roster. Maybe make some adjustments, like you guys said, in the areas that they're lacking. But overall, I mean, you keep this team together like glue right now and hunker down.
They're an AAU team that happened to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
I love them. They're awesome.
Real quick, I'll just give my 3 picks of who I'd like to see be active this season. One of them's a silent pick because it's the Bulls, and they're probably gonna make some moves. They're gonna be the wrong ones. I couldn't care less. But yeah, the other teams is Warriors. I'm a big fan of like watching great teams be great. I'm a big fan of Curry. I think that they're an entertaining team to watch. I would like them to see the Warriors kind of make a return back to their former offensive firepower self, but I don't think it's likely. I don't really know who would fit well with the Warriors, but that's another team that I would like to see active. And then the last one is Pacers. The Pacers, I would like to see make some moves because honestly, like as a Bulls fan, I live closer to the Pacers Stadium now than I do the Bulls Stadium because when I'm in school, that's just how it works out. But I think I would way rather want to see right now the Pacers do well than I would the Bulls. I guess they're in trade rumors with the Warriors also for like Andrew Wiggins, and they're kind of targeting him as well as Mikal Bridges. So, I mean, that would be tough. I'm not gonna lie for you, Matt. Like I would hate to see that, and I would definitely your
Swear to
name would
God.
pop right up into my head if I saw that Woj bomb pop up. But yeah, I would really like to see something happen for the Pacers.
Anyone but them. That's it.
Yeah,
Anyone but
that's
them.
fair. That's completely fair too.
Fuck them.
I forgot that happened for a second, and I was like, "Bro, what's wrong with the Pacers?" I kind of like them, but
So
I
many
forgot.
things. Uh,
Y'all got to like curb stomp Reggie Miller next year.
fuck
That
Reggie
was
Miller, bro.
Yeah, that was
Mm.
brutal. I don't care at all for them, but that was terrible.
We're celebrating this man when he's on commentary about his what I forgot what the fuck it was. Was it the 8 points in 9 seconds game or whatever the fuck it was? Was that what they were celebrating on the broadcast?
I
I don't
think
even
so, yeah.
remember. But they literally, I think we were in New York for that game, and they were making the biggest deal ever about Reggie Miller. And I'm just like, bro, nobody gives a fuck. Like,
No.
nobody cares except for Pacers fans, and that's all of 25 people. So like, can we leave Reggie Miller out
Yeah.
of like, it doesn't need to be about him right now. Oh, it was his return in New York. That's what it was. Popped in my head. It was his return in New York. Bro, fuck off. Don't make this about Reggie Miller. It's a
Hmm.
playoff game. Like, what are we doing? So I don't know. I was a little aggravated about
No,
that.
yeah. That
Just a
that that's
salty Knicks
fair.
fan. Just a very salty Knicks fan.
Yeah. That no, that's completely
No, it
fair.
is
He was saying some bullshit down there. I'm not
Always
gonna lie.
does.
Yeah.
Top one hater.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week's episode with a little bit of a who would you rather. We did this either last week or the week before for the first time, and we thought it was a lot of fun, so we're going to go ahead and do it again. So I got 4 different categories today. You guys are going to see what they're about, and then I'm going to list 4 players in that category, and then we're all going to list who we would rather have. So the first category I have is who would you rather have perimeter defender edition. We have Herb Jones, OG Anunoby, Lou Dort, and Jaden McDaniels.
It's tough.
Got some locks there.
Damn, man. I was between. I think I'm gonna go Jaden McDaniels after what the Timberwolves did and seeing them clamp up Denver. I'm going Jaden McDaniels.
It was Lou Dort, Jaden McDaniels, and who?
OG and Herb Jones.
I mean, yeah, I think I might go with Jaden McDaniels too, just because of how strong that Timberwolves defense was.
Man, the recency. Y'all are victims of recency bias. There is a correct answer here, and it wasn't Jaden McDaniels.
So
Matt, going to give us?
bro, like if we were talking recency bias, honestly, you could make an argument for Lou Dort too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because he was amazing in these playoffs. But man, bro, I gotta make the homer pick. It's OG me. What he did when he came to our team, he turned the whole thing around. It's pretty simple for me. Just for that reason. Made our defense the best in the league with him. So that's a crazy impact in and of itself.
Sure, yeah, no, OG definitely has locks. I'm gonna have to go with Herb Jones here, man. I feel like he can do everything that Jaden McDaniels can do, but slightly better. I think he's better in pick and rolls. I think he's better on switches, and I think he's better at contesting. That's why I kind of have it there. And I'm going really in depth with this a little bit because when they released the all defensive first team, McDaniels was on the second team and Herb Jones was on the first team, and people were like, "How the hell is Herb Jones over Jaden McDaniels?" And so a lot of people were saying, like, okay, you definitely didn't watch the season. You just watched the Denver Nuggets series. I'm not
Yep.
saying that it tilts to you guys. Maybe it does. No, I'm just fucking around. But I'm just saying, I'm a big fan of Herb Jones for honestly no reason at all. I just like watching the guy play defense, and he's a pretty good player. So I would love to have him on my team. But
Oh,
moving on to our
there were Knicks
second
rumors with that,
edition,
man. I would love that.
Herb Jones, he's a guy that can play anywhere.
Yep.
Like he can go anywhere and play for whoever and do exactly what he needs to do. But moving on to our second edition, we have Who Would You Rather All Time Center Edition. We got Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, Jokic, and Kareem. I had to throw a modern day person in there.
Just peaks, like
Yeah,
at their peak. Fuck, man.
yeah.
It's hard to argue against one guy here.
That is tough.
I'll get it started. I'm gonna take Shaq. I mean, we watched Shaq have the greatest peak potentially of all time. Like we were just talking about his final stats, like, and they three-peated. Dude, Shaq was one of one. And as much as I would love to pick like Jokic, Hakeem is great. Kareem is arguably the greatest all overall basketball player of all time from high school on. Yeah, I have to take Shaq. His peak was ridiculous.
I I think, like at first I was gonna say like, yeah, the most, and this is my boy too. Like I love Shaq, so I don't know why I'm even questioning this, but I might even go Jokic just because I hate to sound like I am a broken record at this point about the whole like building a good team, but like when I imagine myself building a team, like I feel like I could just build it better around Jokic and his playmaking and just kind of everything that he offers to the game. Ooh. Yeah, it's just personal opinion, so I don't have a gun to my head. I'm gonna go Jokic.
Yeah.
I think if I was gonna create a starting five and I wanted to try to go 82 and 0, I'm gonna have to have Shaq on there, most dominant big man ever.
My point,
It,
one of the points that I was really quick gonna make is just that like I feel like Jokic would be really good about spacing out the floor and just kind of not being so dominant in just one area, but Shaq was so dominant in that one area that it's like, what the fuck? Like, what do you do? I don't know. Yeah, that's tough. Sorry, Kevin. Go ahead.
what kind of like draws me away from Shaq is like the same thing as you, is kind of just like the ball dominance that he has and also spacing. I'm a big fan of spacing, which kind of pushes me towards Jokic. But ultimately, as far as like how we're talking peak and accomplishments so far, I'm probably gonna have to go with Shaq. But Jokic is like literally right there,
Right
I,
there.
I
right there.
agree. Yeah.
He's right there. If you
Hey,
ask
man.
me tomorrow, maybe my answer will be different. It's one of those situations.
Modern day Hakeem would be shooting threes, bro.
Modern day Hakeem
That's
would be, man, he'd be nice in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
He'd
He'd
be
be
one of those
perfect.
guys.
He'd be
Yeah, he
perfect
would
for the NBA today.
he would be perfect. But kind of moving on to our next edition, I think this one here could be fun. We have Who Would You Rather Have? Zero Rings Edition. We have Damian Lillard, Allen Iverson, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden.
You know what, man? this sounds crazy, but I think I'm gonna go with James Harden, 0 rings. Dude was absolute in his prime. He was insane. He invented that step back move that you see Luka Doncic doing today. Dude literally um was like the pioneer of like ISO basketball. I feel like I'm gonna go with James Harden.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. I'm I said it before. I'm picking Russell Westbrook, and I don't think I'm delusional at all. I think Russell Westbrook, I don't know, season MVP, averaging a triple double. He's done it like he's taken teams to playoff runs by himself and with people. I don't know. I got a lot of love for Russell Westbrook, man, and I think that out of this list of names, the only person that I would rather or like consider having on my team, maybe more, is Damian Lillard. But I hate Damian Lillard. I hate Damian Lillard. It was a bad shot. The shot that he shot over Paul George was a bad shot. I'm sorry. Yeah, I haven't forgave him for that. But no, Damian Lillard is lights out too, man. He's such a good point guard, and I think he does impact any team that he's on. And if there's anyone that proves that they can lead a team, it's him. Maybe not to, the stratosphere, maybe not to a championship, but someone that can take the reins and play well is Damian Lillard. But yeah, I just think Russell Westbrook has more experience. He's the better player for me. I'm gonna go Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I mean, for all the reasons you said, Vic, it's James Harden. I think it's pretty clear for me. That version of Harden is one of the greatest offensive engines we've ever seen. And it's just really that simple. And also, bro, he had arguably the greatest team of all time on the ropes. And then CP gets hurt, and they just get the unluckiest break of all time. So, yeah, I mean, it's Harden. The man changed the game. So, changed the way fouls are called and everything. So, Harden is that dude.
Yeah. I'm very surprised here because I'm going James Harden as well. I did not think you guys were going to swing that way too. So that's pretty shocking for me to see. But what all you guys said is 100% correct and for the right reasons. This is why I'm picking James Harden. Ready? June
Ready?
23rd. Not June. July. Not July. January. There we go. It took me the
Hey.
months in English are hard.
All the J's.
January, I had to go through all of them. January 23rd, 2019, the Houston Rockets traveled to New York to face off against the Knicks.
Do this.
Harden's over-under for that game was 42.5 points. The over was minus 140. That was the favorable bet to take his over on 42.5 points. He dropped 61.
60-point triple-double that game.
61.
I'm pretty sure.
That bet was quite literally the definition of a lock. How does, bro? That's my reason.
We were ass.
The next day,
we were so bad at that time. So
I cannot believe I cannot. If I opened FanDuel one day and I saw an NBA player's over under was 42.5. Shit, I feel like they damn near did it with Jalen Brunson. In the playoffs this year.
It was getting close.
Yeah, it was getting really close. I think the highest I saw it was like 37.5, 38.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it was 38.5, maybe 39.5 max, which is nuts. Nuts in and of itself. So
that's absolutely wild. 42.5 ends up clearing it. Like that's absurd. That's what matters here.
That was Harden. That was prime Harden.
Yeah, that was when people ask me how good James Harden was in the future kids, I'm gonna tell them that stat right there. Right there. I'll be like, this is how good he was.
I think it's crazy that the only person that didn't vote Harden here is I would hope is the only one with a Harden jersey. I have a Houston Harden jersey from like his MVP season. I watched him play during his MVP season, and I somehow still I choose Russell Westbrook because I'm delusional. But continue.
You're a Glazer.
I am I can't even. Yeah, I can't even like deny that, bro. I was.
Boy,
yeah,
I love Russ too, but
that's my guy.
Nah, man. It's
Harden was just on a different level on offense.
But maybe one of the greatest ISO, like, no, I don't know. I was gonna say ISO players, like we've ever seen.
Probably
but, like, he's up
if
there.
we're arguing, he might be the single greatest ISO player of all time.
I didn't want to say it, but
what it is today.
I wouldn't disagree at all.
He brought it to that
NBA
too.
Yeah.
I definitely think I agree. But to wrap up this, who would you rather? I'm gonna give a little special edition here for Matt here. We have who would you rather New York Knick edition. I feel like this one might be easy. I don't know if I did good on this one, but I got like a player from like four different eras. I got current day in Jalen Brunson. I got probably one of your all time best players in Patrick Ewing. Last decade, Carmelo Anthony, and an
You
old
know,
timer in Walt Frazier.
Oh man. If I pick Clyde, I also get his commentating. So I think like I'm leaning one way right now. Like that's two rings and commentating. So like, nah, all right. He's not the best player on this list, but god damn it, bro. I have emotional attachment to this man now. It's Jalen Brunson for me.
Yeah, I don't hate
Like,
that.
like it's just it has to be. Like what he just did for us, bro. Like, come on. What I just got the chance to watch was his
Right.
story. Like, bro, it made like I didn't think it was possible. It made my basketball fandom like reach a whole nother level as a Knick fan. Like this man has genuinely made me feel hope for the New York Knicks, like legitimate hope. And I don't think you could put a price tag on that. Like I don't care what Ewing did. I don't care that he made the finals. Like that was great and all. That was in the 1990s or the early 2000s. I don't give a shit. I wasn't even born yet. Honestly, I wasn't even a thought at that point. So it was it's like, bro, I get to witness Jalen Brunson on a nightly basis or almost nightly basis, and I will again in October. But yeah, man, it's Jalen. It's Jalen. It's easy.
I know what Kevin's gonna pick, and he's gonna tell me I'm wrong. Look at him. He's already thinking of his next answer. He's gonna pick Walt Frazier out of nowhere.
Give your answer, dumbass.
I
You're the one
think
that
I'm
do you get abused
thinking.
the most in the group or no?
What'd you
Just like,
say?
do you get abused the most in the group or no? Like, are
Oh,
you?
absolutely. I'm the most casual, like the fan here for sure. So
That's
like I mess up takes and stuff like that, and I
that's
I get
fun.
my proper shit for it. Yeah. The Tim Duncan thing should be proof enough of that. Yeah. But what's it called? Fuck. I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
You were
All
too
time Knicks. All time
you were
Knicks.
too busy talking about me and who I was gonna pick rather than who you and you're gonna pick. Give your
Right.
pick.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's tough because, Jalen Brunson honestly like has made and this I hope this doesn't come off as like offensive, but there's a lot of teams that I just don't like care to watch on TV a lot of times. Magic's one of them, Cleveland's another. Knicks, I'm not from that area. Wasn't really paying attention to that basketball. Jalen Brunson made watching Knicks basketball, I think, fun. And so I think for that reason, he yeah, and also the other reasons that you mentioned, he's a good player. He's on this list. I don't know if he's the best player on this list. Yeah, skill. Shit. I think I'm gonna have to go Carmelo on this one, just for purely how skilled he was. And I mean, in the mid range, man, I don't know if there's ever been someone that can knock down the shots like that. No, there has been, but Carmelo was really good. I'm gonna go Carmelo on this one.
I said it last episode, and I think I was thinking about it the other day. And Jalen Brunson is slowly creeping into my top five favorite players to watch in the NBA. And I'm gonna buy the hype on that man. He absolutely changed New York basketball. I loved watching the Knicks this season. I was high on them before the season. I thought adding DiVincenzo that they were gonna be a really like top four seeded team and have potentially a deep playoff run. But I really do like Brunson's game, and I out of these four, I'm gonna have to go with him.
I definitely don't dislike the Jalen Brunson pick at all. I mean, for all the reasons that you guys said, man, he's incredibly fun to watch. He had to carry a big burden this year. Me personally, though, I'm gonna have to go Melo. Melo's like one of my favorite players of all time. Like whenever there's a Melo game on, like I always felt like I had to turn it on. He's one of those past NBA players that I like defend, that I'll stand on a hill on. I feel like he gets a lot of disrespect, but he's someone that I always defend. I'm a big fan of Melo. Dude's a bucket, pretty jumper. I feel like he's one of the few NBA stars or legends that like doesn't really have an NBA franchise to call home, kind of like KD. So
Yes.
for that, I'm gonna go with Melo.
Katie had a home. He just burned it down.
He did. For everything that you just said, you're gonna hate what I'm about to say. I actually think, look, I love Carmelo Anthony for what he did for the Knicks, but at the same time, man, I think he's one of the most overrated basketball players to ever live, in my personal opinion. Like I really do. I love him, but I don't know. Those types of players where you're relied upon for scoring, and it's like everything else, it was like kind of average to below average for the most part. He was never like really a great defender, wasn't especially good at playmaking and stuff like that. Of course, we get the rebounding clips where it's like, fuck out of here, which is cool, uh, but like he wasn't especially good at like anything else. So I'm like, but he was a bucket. He was amazing, tough shot maker, but it's just like
Right.
those types of players, it's just not my archetype. So
No, I definitely get it. I think I have a thing for bucket getters for sure. He got close to the finals though, back in his Denver days. I know that's literally pays no attention to this edition because we're talking New York Knicks. But I don't know, man. If you got that one, I feel like he'd be a lot higher on people's radar. But that's a lot to say. Like to be
exactly.
like if you got that, like he didn't even make the finals. So
Thank you, Matt, for coming on to our podcast and coming and for allowing us to come on yours. Again, like make sure you guys subscribe to him, and hopefully we can do more collabs in the future, man.
For sure. Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was super fun. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Kevin, it was great to have you on yesterday. You already said collabs in the future, 100,000%. This was super fun the last couple days. So thank you guys once again. And everybody, make sure you go follow. If you're not following them already, please do, because these guys are awesome and they're very dedicated to the grind. So I very much appreciate you guys.
Yeah. And when do you guys upload? Tuesdays and Thursdays, right?
Yeah, so Tuesday and Thursday we go live on YouTube for podcasts. We're gonna very soon in the summer have a set schedule for when we're posting our clip outs and stuff like that, and TikTok posting schedule. We're gonna get to that stuff, but yeah. So that's all that. Follow us on all of our socials: BallGame Pod, BallGame Podcast, all that good stuff. But yeah, nah, thank you guys once again. This was a blast.
Yeah, man. It was awesome having you on. Appreciate it. And we'll see y'all next week.